Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. And of course, as you can see by the title, it is astrology. And we're going to go from July 31st through August 6th. And the moon will make it through the signs, will be in Virgo, I think about midway or so, and then through to Scorpio. So without further ado, let me bring the camera over the table and show you these charts. Okay, hold on. Okay, so for Sunday, most of all, I'm going to focus on the moon and the aspects because it's involved in this grand square here. And you can see because it's, of course, July 31st, and because we have our Mars-Uranus confrontation with the South Node in Scorpio, we're already in that issue that I went into deeply. So I'll refer you back to that video, and I'll put a link in the description area of this one as well, so you can find it easily, because the first half hour of it would be explaining just about everything that was here, except for the I don't know if I went into the moon. Mercury's involved there. I don't know if I probably skated over that and just focused on the bigger issues. So anyway, and that's the video that has the way to look up this configuration that's going on in the houses of your own natal chart, as long as you know your own natal chart. And it's so super easy to just get a free one online. As long as you have your exact birth time from your birth certificate or some other means of getting that information. So anyway, with that being said, rather than doing a long, weekly overview, what I'm going to do is skate over the first couple of days, just getting into the moon, and then I'm thinking by Tuesday, Wednesday, then we'll get into more of the week. But just to suffice to say that everything that's here is this lead up prior to this exact conjunction that'll be coming through at 18 degrees with Mars, Uranus, and the North Node. So we can see already we've got the grand square, right? See how we've got 4 squares here? So we have tension here, 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 and here. It requires action to work through. And the tension is coming from Mercury, so it has to do with what we're thinking about, how we're processing what's coming through. And a lot of it is like core energy because it's in Leo. The sun's in Leo, Mercury's in Leo. There's so much coming out in the news about the dirt from the past, and we are processing that, right? We're mentally processing that. And because we have this opposition to Saturn going on here, personally, I'm thinking that there's a lot of confrontation with the government, confrontation with structures, the way things are. So we're talking, SCOTUS or SCROTUS, whatever you want, however you want to describe them nowadays. Although I want to send so much love and support to Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor and our new Kataji Brown Jackson coming in. I think she's coming in October, and and I don't really know about John Roberts and Gorsuch, and we know for sure the other. It's basically we've got 6 against 3 going on right now. We have. Oh, that's right. It's Stephen Breyer holding space for Kataji Brown Jackson. Yeah, those are the 3. Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan. So I am super, super grateful for them. And I'll never forget Sonia Sotomayor saying, how are we going to get the stench? If they reverse Roe v. Wade, how are we going to get the stench off of this bench? She was absolutely right. So we are we've been witnessing and smelling the stench, and now we are processing it. With Mercury, it's always about how we're trying to figure out a pattern and translate and analyze and rationalize messages, and how we think about it, what we're going to say about it. And in very self-expressive Leo, we've got a lot of communications going out and opinions. Everybody has their opinion, and we're having to bounce it off of, the past, Scorpio past. And this is, like I said before, all about, reproductive rights, gun safety. I am hoping that we have so many technological advances with Uranus conjunct the North Node in Taurus that have to do with safety, and ways to protect our money, ways to, bottom line is for each one of us personally, it's going to be waking up to what we really, really value the most. What do we value the most? Right? Yeah. So if you can stay connected to the source of who you are within you and your power, your own personal power, everything will work out. But meanwhile, we have adjustments here to what is the truth. We are with this inconjunct here from Leo to Pisces. Leo's like, okay, I think I'm getting what they're saying. I'm hearing what they're saying. Do they even know what they're saying? Like, do they realize that what they've said in the past politically is on record, and we can always go back and look, right? So there's this disillusion coming through about that. And on the personal level, you might start wondering about all different relationships. You might start thinking about, wait, what do they really mean when they act that way? Because actions speak way louder than words. And if a person's words and actions don't jive, if they're not aligned with each other, then with those two facets of your personality, then if your bodily actions don't match the words coming out of your mouth, then you've got a problem in that relationship. They're not being truthful with you. Now, with Venus in sensitive Cancer, sextiling the South Node. Hold on one second. I have to get some water. Okay, that's better. So with Venus in sensitive Cancer, nurturing Cancer that wants to be safe and secure and trust what they're getting, what you're feeling. You want to know, is it true or not? Well, you can trust it. So if someone in the past that you've had a nice connection with is suddenly not saying things that are congruent with what they have said in the past, you may have some discussions that need to happen. Because you can see we have this exact sextile, 3 sextiles to Venus. And Venus, of course, is all about our relationships. And there can be somebody trying to persuade you to do something because you've had a relationship with them in the past. But you're going to have to, trust your spidey senses. You're going to have to make adjustments to what you're feeling, because with the moon in Virgo, you're going to be, you're going to want to be organized. You're not going to want chaotic types of relationships. And you're going to be much more sensitive than ever when it comes to, so you know which way you want to go, right? You're getting your values and what you're trying to accomplish and what matters to you most. You're getting downloads and you're waking up in a whole new way. So the same thing is happening here. We're having healing. We're healing from our deepest wounding in the past that is now having to integrate with our emotional body. So with the moon in Virgo, remember Virgo is always about Well, getting things into order inside. And it's always about trying to clear, right? Cuts the wheat from the chaff, or however you want to say that. Chaff, I always say it that way, but some people pronounce words differently. I say scythe, other people say sieve. But anyway, but with Virgo, on one side you have to be careful about demanding perfection, right? And you have to be perfect and all that. You have to let that go. But bottom line is, can you trust yourself even if the other person isn't so trustworthy right now? And can you trust yourself enough to express from your heart what it is that you're needing and wanting in relationship, and opening up the channels of communication? And then from there, the adjustments, because we have communication here and here, but discerning the details. Virgo's all about discerning and then making it the adjustments. Virgo and Mercury, because Mercury rules Virgo, and Mercury rules Gemini as well. But we're in that realm of adapting to new information that comes in, trusting your inner knowing that is bringing through messages here with Mercury in Leo. Even though we're in this tension field, like I've been saying, with this square to the past and square to the future. So in the future's bringing in safety, awareness, values, things you care about, the way you want to live, the way you want to be. You want to just be yourself, and you can't not be yourself anymore, right? So who you are is having to speak up and say things about, okay, this happened in the past and I didn't like it. What did you really mean when you said that to me? Or what are you really meaning? Where are you coming from when you're doing those things, even though you're telling me something different? So it can be, like somebody telling you something that they think you want to hear, just to either avoid conflict or to get something from you. It can be outright manipulative. There's that possibility. And you're having to discern it, from so many angles. You have everything you need to discern. But there's, again, these adjustments. Now, the tricky part can be, don't take it personally. Okay? Here's the adjustment right here from Chiron to the South Node in Scorpio. If there's something going on in the past, in a relationship, or, all of life is about relationships, right? Even if you work alone, you still have relationships with your people that you interface with. Even if you're self-employed, you still have, like me, I'm self-employed. I don't have a boss. I don't have anybody working under me either. I don't have coworkers, but I have my peers and I have you guys. So I interface with you guys, right? So at the least, it can be like my situation. At the most, you could be working in some multi-level corporation, and you could have tons of coworkers and supervisors, or you could be a supervisor and you're dealing with many levels from both sides, right? And processing that information, Virgo's great at tracking patterns and then figuring out from the past who can be trusted and who can't, and what is best for maybe someone's growth, what is best for your growth. And like I was saying before, whatever's going on, if just because it doesn't jive with the truth and what's, because you're coming from this place of just trying to get to the truth and discern what the truth is. If someone is not truthful, please don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. It's their issue. It's not yours. As long as you're being truthful. Now, being truthful to yourself is what's required first, and then you express that to the other person. So Mercury is also in this in conjunct here. So here we have a lot of adjustments this morning, starting off. So getting clear, maybe on messages that came through dream time. And what helps me is to put myself in the position, like I've said before, put myself in the position of all the people in my dream, like, I'm this one and this one and this one, and getting a different angle of different parts of my personality that I might be trying to heal and figure out who I really am. And this part was in the past, and this part could be leading the way for the future, and this part's me here now. And, there's so many different ways you could work it through. So it's all about your own personal process work that brings you into your power. And you're going to have to be careful and discern the messages, and be careful of disillusion, be careful of, sometimes people are just dissolving the old self. And that's a good thing, because when they do that, the real self comes through. When you dissolve and let go of a mask that used to manipulate yourself into being who you think you needed to be in order to get, some type of respect or love or approval or connection, and it wasn't genuine coming from inside, those are just adaptabilities that we've developed, from childhood, and we're clearing them as adults, and that's all very, very important. So that's what I'm seeing for most of the day today. Now, how it plays out, whether it's just with your friends or with work, I'm not sure. I do love this trine from the Sun to Jupiter. As long as you don't get too hot, too dry, and too burned out, be careful, because Jupiter tends to blow things up. It can grow, it expands. It's a good thing usually, but sometimes it can be too much. It can be a little too hot. It can just go into excess. But it's really good for learning. It's really good for finding out your beliefs. It's really good for expanding your belief system into the truth if you keep asking for truth. It's good for Jupiter's excellent for abundance. And because it is conjunct, it's 8 degrees, but it's still conjunct Chiron, this could be healing so that you find your deepest inner gifts. And we always find that by going through our wounding. You don't just, pop out of the womb with all your gifts in place. It doesn't work that way. But we have everything to liberate ourselves and to heal ourselves going on. So we have opportunities for expansion and then to express ourselves with the Sun in Leo. But, like I've been saying, drink tons of water. And you guys know that because it's so hot. It's been so hot. And it will continue. We're moving into the really hot season. At least here. Now in Australia, you guys are having your winter, aren't you? So, okay. So let's see. Is there anything else with this day? This will be going on for, is it the whole week? Yeah, we're going to have that nice aspect of the architect all week. I love that. This here, we're going to have this all week. So I'll keep touching on it and try to bring it in focus with the moon as well. Yeah. We have a little bit of the sesquisquare from a little bit of trouble. Not trouble. Just, it can be a little stubborn here, and especially with 2 earth signs, because you want to get something done and you want it right. You might have to let go of things needing to be perfect, or you might be under the spotlight of I don't know about a spotlight, but you might be under the examination is a better word for it with this with Virgo, under the examination of somebody in a position of power above you, and you're feeling a little scrutinized, yeah. If that's the case, again, with these other adjustments that need to be made, please don't take anything personally. Sometimes people, I mean, sometimes. It's one or the other, right? Sometimes. Often, I should say. People will have good ideas and put it out there, and then we'll take it personally like, well, but what I just did isn't good enough because now you've got this new idea coming in on top of it. But we don't mean it that way, with each other. We're kind of just, what's the word when you're just throwing ideas out there, tossing things out just to connect. So again, try not to take things personal. And if you are getting some kind of like constructive criticism, I don't like that. I don't like that, Information and sharing and exchanging information is all about, most of all Gemini, but then especially Mercury and Virgo deeply. That's one thing, but somebody trying to tell you how to do it better, unless you're learning. Now, if this is a little bit of tension around a learning experience, then cut yourself tons of slack. Because, it could be that that's what's going on, that there's more learning. Especially with Jupiter here in Aries, this could be a new learning experience. So if you're going through anything like that, please give yourself lots of room to grow, right? Because that's what Cancer's all about here. Lots of room to grow. You've got a lot of experience from the past, and there's going to be even more energy coming in because this, Venus down here is at this fulcrum, right? Yeah, Venus is most of all about harmony. Now, creating beauty, too. This could be excellent for working around the house or remodeling or moving, things like that. The energy is just perfect for that. Okay, so let's move on to Monday. Monday's when we have this exact, right? And this is everything I was talking about before in the other video. But the primo thing here is with the moon in Virgo. So we have the aspect of the architect here to the south node, like I was just speaking of. But we also have another one here to the moon. See how we've got two. So we have a sextile and a trine. And here, sextile and a trine. And we have another one up here and over to here. So the moon at 21 degrees Virgo today for Monday is involved in, early in the morning, it's involved with opportunities from the past and then an easy flow of that opportunity into the future. So I can't say what it'll be for you. I'm just naming, the aspects here, and then also the easy flow here from the moon up to powerful Pluto and Capricorn, and then the opportunities to spiritual, very, very spiritual and source-oriented Neptune in Pisces. So on some mundane levels, this could be spiritual power that's very grounded. And then with the moon, because the moon is, has to do with our moods, it has to do with what we can connect with, and we're talking details. And it will increase. See how the moon's at 21 and Pluto's at 27? So as the moon starts, eking its way, throughout the day, you'll have this aspect all day long, to where there's an easy flow to connect to your power and share. Maybe you're sharing, you're all coming into a very, very powerful place where you guys can all manifest something together, whoever you're working with. Or maybe you're working alone and these are art projects, because we're talking grounded getting. We've got tons of art going on here with Taurus. We've got tons of art going on here with Neptune and Pisces. And then this may be something that's finally like manifest and it's out of you. It's down, it's into the medium of whatever you're using. I love it. So, yeah, there is so much here. Now, with Mercury in conjunct, I'm feeling in conjunct Pluto and Capricorn, it might be a little bit more of one of those days that is quietly working. Like the Eight of Pentacles in the tarot, where it's just, lots of focus, working quietly, getting the details right. So it's good for writing. Of course, Virgo is just absolutely perfect for, well, my goodness, even health, but details, routine, getting things very, very ordered. Now, what Virgo doesn't like is chaos. Virgo doesn't like, because Virgo is the primo sign of like divine order, and it doesn't like, Mercury will disseminate information, but Virgo, like I said, it's like the, cutting the wheat from the chaff and getting things perfect and tracking the details and getting quality control, right? And because there's an inconjunct up here to Saturn, there could be some information that comes through and we're having to, oh wait, will it actually work? Does this actually work? And then throughout the day, you're going back and forth between your power of manifestation and whether it's with others or alone, you're still trying to get that figured out, because it's all about bringing it into form in a way that helps humanity or helps you get outside the box with Saturn up here in Aquarius, because that's the backdrop here with this square that we have going on. It's going to be, this T-square is going on between the nodes until November 16th. And Saturn's going to be in this tight orb to Uranus. It'll get really tight because Saturn's retrograde, and it'll be back here. So September, mid-September to late October. Things are intensifying a little bit right now. Okay, but we've got breakthroughs coming in with Uranus here. And the sun for the day is still in this wonderful trine. So just like yesterday, still in the wonderful trine to Jupiter and Chiron, so there's nothing more to say about that. We have a yod going on here for this morning with Mercury. Now, Mercury moves pretty quick, so it's just today, but see how, and it might only be this morning, we'll see, but see how Mercury has an inconjunct up here to Pluto, and another inconjunct to Neptune, and then the sextile here to between Neptune and Pluto. So Mercury's at the apex point of these two transpersonal planets up here. Okay, so Pluto again is our power. Pluto creates purging, processing, rebirth. Pluto it strips away things that need to go. Sometimes it can bury things, but only if the karma is really bad and something needs to go because it's not for your highest good anymore, right? It can, and especially at a later degree, I would think it's more about bringing things to light. So again, all of these dirty politicians, we're seeing everything. We're seeing everything. Nothing is able to be hidden if they've been abusing their power and they've been controlling others with their abuse. If that's been happening, it will come through. And, excuse me, it's going to come through over the media with Neptune here, because Neptune rules media, music, art, even immigration with Pisces here. It's all about devotion in the sign of Pisces. Nobody's going to like being a victim especially over, or under, I should say, some dirty politician or dirty lawyer that was helping a politician. You know, it's like John Eastman comes to mind. John Eastman, and then in cahoots with what was that guy, Jeffrey Clark? Those two guys together. The whole fake elector scheme, the whole big lie, stop the steal baloney, right? The big lie. I mean, the lie is the fact that you didn't win, dude. It's like, pack it up and go home. Stay home. Put some duct tape over that. So, Pluto has the power to cleanse. It's all about evolving. Pluto is always about evolving, the evolving soul. And we're going to go there whether we like it or not. So, you know, if you're Rudy Giuliani and you've got Pluto on your south node, your past is coming up to be seen and examined, and there's no more negotiating about it. Pluto also has, because it moves so slowly, it has power over the masses. So that's why I'm saying you just always have to be honest and be in the truth and want the best for everyone, not just yourself, not just control reality so that you have an advantage and other people don't have it. That is just absolutely the wrong way to go. But of course we see that a lot. And do we want to play into that, or do we want to get out of that? You know? I mean, I am driving as little as possible just because I don't want to perpetuate this, you know, because I know they've got the gas prices jacked up just to make money. They're not paying more money for it. They're just passing it on to, they're just trying to get away with it, doing as much as they can. So, yeah, so things like that. Do what you can with your own personal power. Think much broader than just today, right? Okay, so yeah, in expressing your courage with Mercury in Leo, there can be a lot of courage expressed, which will make the people in power. They will have to make an adjustment. Right? Because we're not being diluted anymore. But in this aspect here, this Neptune sextiling Pluto, this is going to be here for quite some time. So, you know, just hang in there. It's like that last line in Stairway to Heaven, like to be a rock and not to roll, right? Hold on to your spiritual principles and don't roll over for anyone. So details are coming out this day. I don't know what's going to be happening politically. Other than, you know what, Danny Shea and I read on that. We used the tarot and we did get some guidance because I had that question. He wanted me to come up with a question and I'm like, okay, I've looked at it astrologically, but I can't predict because Uranus is so unpredictable. What's going to happen other than breakthroughs and technology and astrology should grow. And, you know, unless I saw a person's chart and knew where this was in their chart, then I could definitely say something. But in aspect to the rest of the, you know, planets. But so we use the tarot, and I can't remember what we got because that's how it goes for me. I do a reading and then it's gone. Unless, you know, things keep appearing exactly the same. Like I keep getting the Queen of Wands in Trump's readings, and of course that's Liz Cheney. It took me a while to figure that out. It's like, oh, she's a Leo. I had to figure that out one. Yeah, so anyway. What else for you guys for today? We've got a little bit of tension here that requires action. Okay, so with the Sun in Leo, semi-square here to the moon. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I'm feeling into this. It feels like you want to get something done, and then dang it, with all these little details to get it done. It takes so much longer than you think it's going to take. Okay, but you really want to get it done. It might be like problems like I had yesterday with my printer for no reason. It might be problems like I had in my live stream Tuesday where my power just went out for a second, but it took me 15 minutes to get back online. Thank goodness for Lisa and Sheila to help you guys while I had to wait. So, yeah, and then we have the sesquisquare to Neptune. So again, this is partly the gas price baloney going on here, and so is this too. But Neptune rules gases. Yeah, and people in power, OPEC and people in the powerful gas conglomerates, they have been taking advantage of that power, but we are seeing it. We are discerning it. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, that one's clear. Okay, so Tuesday, and you can see we still have the aspect of the architect going on here with the past and into the future. So just keep going for harmony with Virgo. I'm sorry, Venus. Just keep going for harmony. Keep going for relationships that are loving and kind and sensitive and they reflect back to you your self-worth, and you feel the same way about them. Keep going towards things that appeal to you in a way that put you in the direction that you want to go. And also to always tap in and trust your past life wisdom. All the experience that you've ever gone through and all your past lives are inside of you and just ready to come through whenever you need them. You just have to show up. And then today with the moon in Libra, things are, well, we've got the opposition though to Jupiter. And it's going to grow in the morning, even by noon, I'm guessing. Noon and mid-afternoon, noon to mid-afternoon we're going to have. And then there's going to be more of an opposition here to Chiron. So Libra is about relationships, of course. Libra is about balance and being fair and feeling like you're in a relationship where there's reciprocity. You have to be careful about needing to please. People pleasing. Don't do that if it goes against everything that you value. And that you can see that right here with this, sesquisquare going on. There's 3 sesquisquares, and notice how Mars now, and just the second day after, Mars is now on the other side of Uranus. So there's been a lot of that energy pushing to help you break free, and now you're on the other side of it, and your emotional body is trying to integrate, trying to balance it all out. So hold on to that. This is a stubborn aspect here, but I'm thinking it's good. So hold on to whatever you're trying to hold on to of yourself, because there's a newfound sense of self after this transit. And you need to integrate. And with the semi-square here to the south node, you could be integrating some healing from the past. You could be integrating a past life that you became aware of, that came through in dream time, no less. So give yourself time, if you can, this morning. This would be excellent for meditation to help balance out. I mean, every morning is good for meditation, or any time of the day, when you can get to it. Give yourself that time to get really, really balanced. Let's see. Mercury has the in conjunct to Pluto, so again, there's this, that's a really tight, yeah. Um, I just heard news dump there. News dump, and we're trying to adjust and go, what? Well, that'll be fun to see what it is. On a personal level, though, yeah, this is because it's such a late degree in Leo. I feel like it has to do with expressing what you really want, even though it might be scary, because it could be like, this could be like asking for a raise from a boss. And you're having to adjust how to approach the powerful situation that really matters. Or it could be someone in a position of power coming to you and you're having to adjust, even though it's not really what you want to do creatively. Oh, I bet that happens all the time. You know, like you're in your flow and you're doing really good on your own, and then somebody comes in and says, oh, I need this done right now. This is that kind of thing. Yeah. We have the inconjunct as well from Chiron to the South Node in Scorpio, so this could be a little bit of like, what about me? But I've got to handle this crisis. There could be a little bit of a crisis situation going on. But hopefully it's just minor. Yeah. And like I said before, the aspect of the architect, that's going on all week. Might even go into next week. Because 18 to, well, no, it won't. Well, Venus, nah, I doubt it'll be next week. But it might still be within orb, right? Just not tight. But this is exact. Notice how we have 18, 1841, 1843, 1828 here. Yeah. So this is just like prime time for some new doors to open for you guys. And you have everything you need from the past to go in the direction that you want to go in. Just do your best to stay balanced. Do your best to stay out of people-pleasing. You know, peace at any price. Let go of that. You don't have to like, you know, bowl somebody over or whatever, or you don't get involved in anything like that, of course. But take time to yourself to integrate. Okay, so that's for Tuesday. For Wednesday, the moon is still in Libra, and we have a triple level of adjustment to make to get into the future place that we are moving towards. So lots of adjustments in relationships and on the emotional levels. Wow. And it's squaring Venus. Now, yeah, I mean, it's a square, but it's more about being safe and secure. It's more about trusting your sensitivities, and then how do you deal with it in relationship if it's not the way you want? Because Venus rules Libra and Taurus, but Venus is in Cancer now, and Cancer wants to be safe. And sometimes Cancer can be kind of controlling if it's not developed, you know. It can be because you're wanting to protect the past, or you're wanting to protect what you're afraid of in the future, if that's coming through. Just know that the biggest trigger for Cancer is the Cancer archetype is well, usually when Cancer won't let go and just be nice and be in a relationship and be whatever, you know, it's because they're feeling like somebody's trying to depend on them too much, or maybe it's the other way around where you're feeling kind of needy in relationship. This could be what's going on here. On another level too, this trigger can happen, this square between the moon, because Cancer, the moon rules Cancer. And we're talking about relationship here with Libra, and balance and fairness and equality. So if you're in a relationship where you're not being cared for, you can have, this would be the tension field that would just get you to that place to say, you know what, I think I'm just going to trust my own authority here and go my own way, because this is not the structure. Because we've got freedom here, even though Saturn usually isn't freedom, but it's manifesting and it creates structure. And in Aquarius, it wants to be free. And because it's at the apex of this, T-square that we have going on until mid-November, we're going to be working our way out of that box all the way through from, it's been happening, and we're having some critical points coming through here with the moon. So yeah. Now looks like that inconjunct, is that same inconjunct we had yesterday? Yeah, this one is still in effect for the whole. Well, yeah, it makes sense because Chiron just does not move that fast. So this adjustment here. So if you're in a relationship or you're in a work situation where people are making you feel like you don't matter and you're just a number, or you're just there, you got to have some other dog in that fight, or some other, I don't like that term. You got to have some other bone in that stew, or I don't know what. I can't think of a metaphor right now, but you got to have something bigger. You have to have something more. Like, hopefully they're paying you really well to stay in a situation like that. Otherwise, there's an adjustment that will kick that out, as well as this opposition here. Because oppositions, like we have going on here, these are confrontations, right? This is a mirroring effect. And are you being mirrored in who you really are? Or are you just being, somebody just like putting up the hand and it's not good? Like I said, if it's a work situation and you're making good money, then who cares? Just do your job and whatever. But if it's a relationship, that's not going to fly for too much longer, is it? On another level, because Libra is ruled by Venus, and we're talking art. We've got artistic here, artistic talents. This could be adjustments to some new breakthroughs in technology, art, music, all types of safety, all forms of safety, money. And yeah, this is excellent, actually. Right. Okay. So let's see, what else with the moon? Discuss that. The nice trine to Saturn is definitely really helpful for manifesting. This is the same. Yeah, the other aspects are the same. Okay, so let's move on to Wednesday. This is Wednesday. Let's move on to Thursday. Make sure this is still straight here. There we go. Okay. So the moon's in Scorpio. Woohoo! Psychic Scorpio, deeply transformational Scorpio, intimate Scorpio, can be intense. Secretive Scorpio sometimes. With Mercury now newly in, that's right. Mercury moved into Mercury moved into Venus about midnight. Pacific time. So early, this morning, here we are. So now that Mercury's in Virgo, there's going to be a lot of, and there's that nice sextile to the moon, there's going to be a lot of critical thinking, which will be good. Critical thinking, but when it comes to, like your personal process work, it could be excellent for getting in touch with any deeper wounding that needs to happen. But if it happens to be like like you're a Virgo and you've got an Aries work relationship or friend, be careful about getting into feeling put down or feeling criticized, and don't be the one. You don't ever want to be the one that criticizes someone else. Be careful about what might fly out of your mouth. Might be great for cussing at the TV though, if these dirtbags are on talking trash about how great they were in the past, and they actually weren't. And that may especially be the case with the Sun squared the South Node, because the South Node's about the past, and Scorpio can be just, somebody trying to get what they want by expressing something. But notice how the Sun here is in a T-square to the North Node and the South Node. So we've got a double, so we have that grand square going on, see here, right? So this is in effect, right, until mid-November. Just remember, before Thanksgiving, if you're, USA. And this will move quickly because it's the Sun. It might be there tomorrow too. Let's see how long. Yeah, it's there tomorrow. Oh my goodness, it's there the rest of the week. Okay. So that's important then. Oh, that's right. That makes sense because we're talking 12 degrees to 18. So it's approaching, and the approaching energy is stronger. It'll get better when it's, exact, which will, I think, take us into next week. So this is really important, you guys. This T-square going on here. The Sun is a spotlight. It shines the light on something. Now, it can shine the light on all types of things, but it's mostly going to be about what worked in the past and which way do you want to go in the future. Mars is still kind of trucking ahead in Taurus, but it goes pretty quickly. And shoot, by another 10 days, Mars will be in Gemini, so that's how fast that's going to go. But we still have lots of energy to get us going in the direction we want to go, and it can be kind of electrifying. You guys might not get the sleep you want. This is very fiery. You know what I mean? And Uranus can tend to kind of, especially in Taurus, kind of electrify the body a little bit. You might be getting lots of, downloads. Your body electricity might just be higher. Your nervous system might be much more active. And tons of water will help that. Water and like grounding types of food. Yeah, but with Mercury in Virgo sextiling the moon, there are opportunities to get more deeply into what you're wanting to manifest, right? And with it sextiling with the Mercury in Virgo, the details coming through. So this is great. Now, they both move pretty quickly, so I'm wondering, are they going to keep tracking? I didn't look at that. No, by the end of the week it'll be gone. Yeah, this is just for today. Okay. So, look at this great opportunity. This is just this morning and then later into the day. Yeah. Get in touch with the details of what you're really wanting to manifest or change, if it's about making changes in your life to get away from crisis, to get out of betrayal, to let go of some secrets that you think are just awful. And it's like, when you tell your friends, it turns out that, oh, yeah, I've gone through that. It's totally normal. That's a nice thing to know. And it's usually the case, almost always the case. We will all have unique experiences, but a lot of us will have been through the same type of a thing. It's just part of being human. So let's see. That's the same. Venus up here in the having an inconjunct to Saturn. So there's adjustments to, because on one side we want safety and security. We want to feel safe and secure. But up here, we're being encouraged to think outside the box and just be free. And the setup of, Saturn up here squaring the nodes, that's what it's all about. Like I said, until the middle of November. Now, notice how Venus is opposing Pluto, and Venus is moving this way, so it's going to, this is another approaching energy that is strong. Venus to Pluto, woo! These are some powerful experiences. Now, the Cancer Capricorn polarity is all about feeling safe enough to go for what you want. Notice how Pluto has now moved back into, now we're at 26 degrees. It's not going to go back much further before it goes direct. It's only going to, just a little bit more. And but then again, well, let's see. It'll be out of retrograde in October. I remember I looked that up. Yeah. So just a little bit further. It moves so darn slow. Yeah. And Uranus is going to retrograde later on this month, and so it's going to stay within orb of that south node, or north node, because the north nodes go, the nodes are always going backwards. So this will get to 17 degrees. Uranus will start going to 17, and yeah. And Uranus will be retrograde all the way through, I think it's around the end of January, if I remember right. Don't quote me on that yet, but the deal is Mars is going to go this way, move towards Gemini, more news dumps, information coming out. Uranus is going to go towards the north node. The north node's moving back because it's going to keep going back this way. Same thing with the south node. It'll get down to the lower degrees in Scorpio. So we're all heading towards getting free. So it's heating up, literally, on the planet and in our lives. So going towards what you're really, really wanting is the way to go, always. But this is such an opportunity. These are such amazing opportunities. And yeah, like I said before, the sun is still trining, so we've got those nice opportunities there, nice flow of energy, I should say, between moving forward and in very, very powerful ways. The sun in Leo is all about your creative self-expression and having fun, and because it's shining a light on something, wherever this lands in your chart, wherever you have 12 degrees Leo in your chart, you can bet that you're going to be healing something from the past that will help you spring forward into the future, because it's at this T-square for the rest of the week and into next week too. So use this opportunity to get in touch with anything that you may have been not going towards because you were afraid to put yourself out there. How about you just let that go? I know Cancer wants to stay safe, but at some point you got to let go. Otherwise, you're not going to get what you want. And Leo's there to help you get it, right? Yeah. So the universe is supporting you to put yourself out there, but get the details together first. Maybe it's about getting yourself in a very, with Venus and Cancer, maybe it's about getting yourself nested. Getting yourself in a very secure position so that when you put yourself out there, you can just go. Like, I've been through that before. I knew before I started my, I didn't even know I was going to start a YouTube channel, but I knew that I had to move from my cabin way up in the mountains that got way too much snow to a place where I had better weather and I could function more freely for my business to grow. I knew I needed to do that. And then once I got moved here, I had to go through a big old healing process and a rebirth experience, and then I woke up one day and went, what if I had a YouTube channel? And then, of course, it took me another 6 months of watching YouTube videos to figure out how to start a YouTube channel. I remember my son asked me, how'd you figure out how to do that? I'm like, watching YouTube. Oh, YouTube on YouTube. Okay. So yeah, so if I can do it, you can do it. Because me, I have 4 planets and my south node in Cancer. If I can do this, anybody can do it. It's just figuring it out. Get the details going. Trust your psychic spidey senses that are definitely coming in there for you today. And go to your guides and your guardian angels. They'll help you, right? You've got source energy here to help you manifest anything. Pisces is all about pure potentiality. And you've got the power there with Pluto. And it's it. It's coming through. So, okay, so let's move to, let's go to Friday. And Friday, the sun's still in Leo. Like I was saying before, we still have that, that challenge going on there. But it's okay. These tension fields, and that's another thing in my chart. I have 4. I have the Grand Cross. And these challenges, I can tell you, I can promise you, if you work with them and you work yourself outside of the boxes, get out of the boxes and get free, it turns into your strengths, right? So, notice that the moon is up here conjunct the south node, and all through the day it's going to get tighter and tighter, and you can see that by Saturday it's on the other side, but it's still in Scorpio. So this is such a wonderful 24 hours to, and especially early this morning, to get in touch with whatever you're trying to transform and let go of in your life, and to get in touch with your past life gifts and wisdom, because we have the moon opposing all of this. And as the moon goes this way, which it will quickly, it's going to be, you're going to have the moon illuminating your freedom. And Mars is still there on that, this opposition of the South Node to help you free. Mars moves energy, and we are all headed towards more safety, security, and getting what we want. Now with the moon in conjunct Chiron, you have to work through the wounding to get to the gifts, and then the adjustment will come through. I promise. That's how it works. Now, I said this on my tarot reading for one day. I can't remember which day it was, but I got guidance that when you're working through your deepest wounding, which Chiron is, and Scorpio South Node, and Moon and Scorpio, all of that can be very deeply regenerative. I can't say that word. But anyway, you would be transforming, and you need to expect to go through periods of depression. And that's because when you're processing wounding, what happens is that the past is bubbling up. So let's imagine it's the past where you felt powerless. Let's imagine it's the past where somebody was deeply hurtful to you and you were too little to stand up for yourself. When those things come up for healing, you're going to process. You might not know the details and you might not understand what actually happened, but you're going to have the feelings of either helplessness or hopelessness, or, imagine fight, flight, or freeze. However you coped, however you got through it as a little one, and you must have or you wouldn't be here. Whatever all those feelings were, they would be re-experienced again when you go through the transformation process. And that can feel very depressing. And that can put you in the place where you feel like, oh God, I'm never going to get through this. It's happening again. And it will happen over and over until you're clear. That's the way life works. It will always bring you whatever you need to clear through until you get to your pure light. Pure light, right? Freedom, moving to get through. Freedom in your body to clear out all that crap from the past that isn't you. It's just something that happened to you. It's not you. It's not even a reflection of you. And that's what this Scorpio moon can do, can bring you through. And I love that it's coming up on a Friday, so you can have the whole weekend to process it through. But do expect periods of depression and realize that it's the past coming up. And if you can be present and grieve, do your grief work, clear it out, do lots of breath work. I promise you'll have more life force coming through your body. And then eventually it's just all cleared out. And when you've done that deep, deep work like that, it's time to just hand it over to the universe. Once you have faced yourself and you understand the false belief that had the whole, and right now I'm not going to name aspects, I'm just going to say what I'm seeing here. Once you have faced yourself and gotten in touch with that deepest wounding, then process the feelings through and got in touch with the false belief and understood how false it is. And it's going to be about you and life and relationship and whatever. It's going to be all of that. And you're going to need to turn it around and create an affirming mantra in the positive. So if it was, I'm not good enough, you're going to have to turn it around and say, I am more than enough. And think about that all the time, because you got through it, whatever it was, and you're still here. So you're more than good enough. In fact, you're good enough, you're more than good enough, right? You have to work it that way. Or if it's I don't matter, then it's like, I'm in physical matter, so I matter. That was one of my personal ones. Other aspects can be like, I don't belong, or I have to be this way in order to belong. Like, let go of all those things that sell yourself short and sell yourself out, and do your clearing work, but still expect periods of depression. And please know that is normal. It's normal to feel depression as you're healing. It doesn't mean you're stuck. It just means you're processing the past. And who knows how many lifetimes you're processing through nowadays, because we can clear things out so much more quickly with this aspect. Remember, we haven't had this aspect with Mars conjunct the North Node and Uranus for 2,300 years. The last time this happened was 2,300 years ago during like Alexander the Great, when he brought countries together. So imagine that. Imagine bringing your past life wounding, clearing it out through your body and your senses and moving through in a whole different way. Because life is very different than it was 2,300 years ago. And I have to give credit to that to Astrology. I listen to her every once in a while. I just love her. She was one of my big inspirations for starting a YouTube channel too, because that's how it worked out for her. It's like she was like, "Oh, if it weren't for YouTube." But yeah, so she did that. She did that research. So listen to her video on Uranus Mars North Node conjunction too. It's wonderful. Yeah, especially the way she brought it back in time. Like the last time Uranus was conjunct the North Node was in 2006-07 when the iPhone was invented. I remember that. And then like 1990-something, different breakthroughs, technological breakthroughs. So yeah. Let's see, anything else with the moon here? That's that T-square. And as it moves closer this way, it's going to, yeah, got that. Let's just go ahead. Because I'm sure it's here. Yeah. So notice now how we have the moon. It's out of the T-square between the sun and the south node, all of that, but it's square Saturn. So this morning, actually from Friday, all day Friday, the approaching energies had to do with the moon starting to build its square to Saturn. The moon in a mature degree of Scorpio is not going to like being controlled by the man, by anyone who tries to limit freedom. So I'm thinking that this weekend, approaching this weekend, Friday, it could be that like Fridays, it could be Friday and Saturday morning. There could be some more protests around, Roe v. Wade. Yeah. In these other states that are trying to like criminalize it, call it murder to have an abortion. That's just ridiculous. Especially if it was something you're going through that you need to have a DNC, dilation and carriage, or whatever you call it, because you've had ectopic pregnancy or you had a miscarriage, and if you don't get that cleaned out, that can turn into major problems. It doesn't just come out with the next period. A lot of times it needs to be cleared out. So, yeah. Or what if you had an IUD that got embedded into your uterus and you need to have, because they can, what if you need to have that taken out, right? That's a medical procedure in your womb. And if you can't have something like that, see, this whole polarity here, we're talking sexual reproductive rights, or sexual, because Scorpio rules sexuality. And Taurus is all about safety and the mother. Remember I said a long time ago, put the Empress here and put Judgment here, because Judgment card is ruled by Pluto, Scorpio. Put any Scorpionic card back here. That's where we're coming from. But we're going in this direction where we're going to have to fight for these rights. And that's what I'm seeing here. Yeah. Okay, but the moon also has a nice sextile to Pluto. So there's more power. And check out this kite we've got going on here. See this aspect here? So we've got a grand trine. So we have a grand water trine between Venus and Neptune in Pisces. Right? So moon to Neptune. It's very powerful. And then down to Venus, which is approaching. Yeah. This is all about feminine wisdom, feminine energy, and it's always energy and consciousness. The divine feminine is energy. The divine masculine is consciousness. Now that does not mean that the divine feminine has no consciousness. In the spirit world, there's no separation between the divine masculine and feminine. The feminine receives and holds space, energy, right? Divine masculine gives. So we've got affection and procreative urge. That's how you make babies, right? Unless, in the case of rape, and then we've got violations, and that's what we're protecting against when we're fighting for female rights. Things are just so screwed up on Earth. But in the divine realms, we're talking energy and consciousness. So we have to be conscious. We have to manifest. We have to fight. And we've got this going on here. And Venus is moving into Leo, August 11th. You can see my date here. And the full moon is going to be in Aquarius, because the moon and sun are always in opposition. That's how you get the reflection of the full moon. And when it's a new moon, it's always conjunct the sun. So, but anyway, we're going to have the full moon in Aquarius, 19 degrees Aquarius. That will also happen on the 11th. I don't remember the time, but I'll do another reading on that. Oh, wait, or do I have it? No, I have it in my kitchen. I'm still looking at that chart. So, yeah. Okay, so we've got this kite, or a diamond faceted. A kite, the kite-shaped formation in a chart is about going in a direction. So we've got Venus at the focal point, however you want to say that, or both ways. Venus rules the feminine, and it's in Cancer, which is very feminine. Capricorn's a feminine sign too. If we want to genderize, I tend to not, but anyway. So Venus is moving this way more, and we're going to have, it's already 3 degrees orb right there, but it's going to, because Pluto's gone back a little bit, but Venus quickly will be in exact opposition, and again, we've got that approaching energy that's strong. You always feel it, especially in a sensitive sign, and as you are sensitive and empathic, you're going to feel it more as it's approaching. And then the day it's exact, it's like, whew, okay, yeah, I get it, man, I get it. And then as it starts waning, then you feel it less. At least that's been my experience. So, okay. So Venus in conjunct Saturn, adjustments to the feminine, to the man, sticking it to the man. Ugh, these guys, I swear. And anything else? So we're going in this direction to more power, manifesting power. When we're talking manifesting body, right? And then Cancer energy, you can be very, very protective. The 2 signs that I always feel are the most protective are Cancer and Leo. Aries can be too. And then Scorpio can dig its heels in and just go, oh, hell no. Ain't be having none of that. Homie, don't play that game no more. Mercury squaring the moon. Yeah, again, I mean, my goodness. Getting the details of the atrocities against women and their bodily autonomy is going to be even more intense over the weekend. I do feel there will be more protests. They have been going and going, and I just so love it. Now, we have to be careful in the heat, though. So I'm guessing that they would be early morning. Yeah, hopefully lots of umbrellas and lots of water, and people handing out water as they're walking by, just like when they do, marathons. So, yeah. So this grand water trine to the moon is very powerful for Saturday. Very, very powerful. And remember, Venus is headed towards very self-expressive and strong, courageous Leo. So, there you go. Let's see, am I missing anything? I don't think so. I think this is it, you guys. I think we're done. Yeah. Just know that the moon here is connecting to Saturn, squaring Saturn, and this is rebellious, strong energy, fixed and rebellious. This is a fix. These are all fixed. Fixed air, fixed earth, and fixed water. Whew. And fixed fire down here. Okay. Not a whole lot of mutability. The only thing mutable going on here is Mercury in Virgo and, of course, our Neptune in Pisces, which has been there for quite some time. Yeah. So, okay, well, I think this is it, you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and get this uploaded for you and send you big hugs. Okay, take good care. Bye.